Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the interview series where I interview collectors and creators of comics. And this week I have a really cool creator. He created the comic called Alpha Dogs. And so far I've only read the first issue. There's actually 4 issues that have already come out through Kickstarter. And the first issue was pretty fun. It was pretty cool. Like some crazy stuff happens in it. We're going to get into that. But first, I'd like to introduce you to my interview subject, John Dexter.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, so that's one of the main dogs. Actually, for some reason, I like that dog better than the other dog, even though, the other dog seems a little grumpy to me.
He is grumpy. Very grumpy. He's lived a life that he's kind of felt repressed. I don't know if you tell me you catch on issue 1, but as we build more.
Yeah, well, you can sense that he's a little bit more jaded, I would say.
Very much so. He's his name is Cyrus. He's a pit bull as well, and him and Buck both share this dog here. I'm trying to get a better
image of. It's because it's cropped now.
It's all good. This dog here, they've been living on the run with their owner all of Buck's life. The dog here in the picture, from mercenaries that are attempting to capture the dog to manipulate their abilities. They can heal from any wound. They're smart enough to understand human speech. They, as you read with issue 1, they can talk to one another. They're smart enough to they have their own language. They can't talk to humans, and humans can't understand them. But they have their own language. But
they can do things like basic things like nodding and kind of sort of kind of hinting at, hey, this is something.
Exactly. That way they can communicate with their owner, Ina. They've been on the run with her for all these years because these mercenaries are attempting to kidnap the dogs to manipulate their powers. And then finally, where we pick up on the stories, they're living in this farmhouse out in South Carolina, nice, quiet, and they think they're living this finally
life, peaceful, retired life kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And their owner, who's been living a very lonely life on the run with their dogs, falls in love with this guy who works at this CAR-T therapy bioengineering place, and he's developed this serum that is actually a real serum called CAR-T therapy, where people with cancer, they extract the cancer patient's healthy cells, weaponize them, and then re-inject them into the patient, and those cells kill cancer cells. Well, he's developed this kind of 2.0 version, but once he gets in possession of the dog's blood, their superpowered blood, he can create his own dogs with incredible powers. She divulges the secret of the dogs to him, who she's never done before, but little does she know, here he's been setting this up for a long time. He already knows of the dog's powers, and with this serum, he's going to enact his revenge plot that, as the story goes along, we find out why, what's going on. I'm a big fan of mystery stories with this big overall mystery. My big overall mystery is Alpha Dogs, is how the dogs got their abilities. And we slowly unravel that as the issues go along. And our little smaller mysteries, a la Lost or Game of Thrones, is this revenge plot that Salem has, our villain of the series, and what his overall scheme is. And people have been enjoying it. It's not really well-known series. Obviously, you never heard of it until
I never heard of it until
I contacted. Nobody hardly.
But it was definitely worth the read. Now, actually, I'll probably pick up the later issues of it as well. So
I'll have to send you issue 1 of Dexter Detective, because I think if you like noir, now Dexter Detective, not to jump to a different topic, but that's the second series that I've created. Dexter Detective. I've got issue 1 and 2 out now. That's only 8-issue series. It's I think Stephen King's It and True Detective kind of put them together. You'll get Dexter Detective. It's been
supernatural kind of crime detective kind of thing.
It's a genre that I'd say hasn't been done before. I'm sure everything's been done before, but it's a very original story with that. Like I said, not to jump to a different subject, but you can buy Dexter Detective on the Alpha Dogs Kickstarter. The Alpha Dogs Kickstarter goes till June 23rd is when it ends. It's the 30-day Kickstarter. We're already funded. I
Mhm.
funded it in just over 48 hours, so I'm pretty proud of that.
Wow,
Fastest I've
that
ever
is
funded
very
a
quick.
Kickstarter, which that's not making money yet. It's just the least amount you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
make.
yeah. No, but I mean that's impressive to fund it that quickly.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it. It's doing better than any other of my Kickstarters, which is great because it shows that I'm growing and getting more people knowing about what I'm doing. I've been able to go to Comic Cons now that COVID's over with,
Mhm.
and people have really responded to it. So, but with Dexter Detective, like I said, it's about this detective who comes upon this crime scene, the third victim of the serial killer who's left his latest victim over the burial grounds. The detective's father and uncle buried multiple bodies 40 years ago when they were involved with this moonshine war
Mhm.
back in 1981. So we cut back and forth. The present is in color, and when we cut back to when the detective's 8
Black
years
and white.
old, it's in black and white.
Yeah,
So it's pretty cool. But anyway, that's a different
yeah.
story.
A different
You can
story.
purchase those on the Alpha Dogs Kickstarter. But
Okay.
Alpha Dogs is inspired by my own dog. He was a pit
Mhm.
bull. Actually, he passed away just here March 22nd,
Oh no.
which kind of stunk. He was our baby for almost 14 years.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah,
pretty long actually for a dog.
it is. And he was a pit bull mix.
Mhm.
So we lived in this town that had outlawed pit bulls. So we had the choice to move or get rid of the dog. So, of course, we moved.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was the inspiration to create this character who is feared by the public because of his breeding size, but he's
Mhm.
actually got a great heart. As the story, as you could probably tell a little bit with issue 1,
Mhm.
he's a very loving dog. He loves his owner, thinks his owner can do no wrong.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, as all stories go, we have this dilemma.
Mhm.
She's kind of falling in love with this guy and pushed him aside. And one of the themes of Alpha Dogs is abandonment, and that
Mhm.
can go with humans, with kids, and with pets. You have this puppy or this dog, and then something else comes into your life, or a new puppy, and you kind of push them aside. And
Mhm.
obviously, there isn't going to be the domino effect of most families where
Mhm.
these people are on the run now from this evil scientist that's trying to
Mhm.
catch the dogs to develop his own dogs with powers. But it's still the same story, and it's very relatable. Buck's a very relatable, even though he's a dog, this big dog with superpowers. He's a
Mhm.
very relatable character because we've all felt the sting of a parent or a loved one who's kind of pushed us aside in our lives.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I sort of see him as more like in the first bit of the story. He's more kind of the juvenile
Yes,
of the two
absolutely.
dogs that are in the story. The two young
Yeah,
dogs. Um,
it definitely has that bright-eyed, bushy tail. His
yeah.
owner can do no wrong, and unfortunately, as things go along, we find out different.
One thing that I thought was interesting that you did was actually a couple things, and it's really about the fact that they're dogs. Is they are dogs, like in the general sense of that, where they have that loyalty to their owner. They have that loyalty, that kind of dog mentality of sitting by the door and waiting for their owner to come. They have that kind of I don't know, just like dog perspective on things.
Mhm.
Even though have enhanced intelligence and all that kind of stuff, they still act fundamentally as dogs,
Yeah,
which is good. They're not just people in dog suits at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
they're truly dogs. I thought that was good. The other thing that I thought was interesting was, in a way, it's frustrating, but it is good that it's done. That they can't talk to the people.
yeah. It's too much of an easy out, and
Yeah, it's too much of an easy out, and
it's
I kind of
cheating,
like that. Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like that. So there's
Yeah,
times when it would be so handy just to say, "Hey, look, this guy's a jerk. Don't mess
yeah,
with
yeah,
him."
exactly. Well, like you said, which is a great point. They are dogs, and Buck
Mhm.
is juvenile in that he attacks the bad guy, the guy that
Mhm.
is interfering in their lives.
Mhm.
This is definitely not some funny dog talking dog story. This is a very grounded story, very
Mhm.
real. As we open up, our hero of the story is riddled with bullets on this beach, seemingly dead,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
heals from that. So
Very
it's definitely not Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Wolverine-esque there, by the way. I thought it
I'm
was very
sorry, what?
it just reminded me of Wolverine, the bullets popping out.
Yes, yes, yes. Wolverine it's a great device to have a character that can heal because you can
Mhm.
you can do a lot of
Yeah, you
stuff.
can do a lot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was he was the first one I created, and I was like, yes, he's got to have healing power that way. It's just great because like Spider-Man, you know, he gets shot up. It's like, well, come on, he can't get shot. He could die. So it's great to have a main character that can take the abuse and,
take a bit,
and heal. So
yeah.
So it's definitely not someone said it's Wolverine Max meets Incredible Journey. That's a great a combination of those two, because it's, as the story goes along, it's definitely in that vein of these dogs are on a mission to. I don't want to give away too much of the story as it develops, but if you back issue 1 through 4, that's the first story arc. We start out with him, you know, seemingly dead on a beach. He heals, and the mystery is, well, how did he end up on a beach? How did he get shot up? Well, we answer that at the very end of issue 4.
Okay.
So it wraps around. I love stories like that kind of start.
Yeah, sort of start and end at the same point. Yeah,
exactly. I love the bookend stories. Those are sorely missed, I think, in writing or comics or whatnot. So I wanted to do that. I thought it was a cool device. So if you buy it, so issue 4 is, you know, it's a great for someone that's just hopping on, because you get the first story arc, you start and end where we started. So it'll be fun for anybody that reads it.
So how did you start the process? How did you like say, hey, look, I'm gonna do a comic, I'm gonna put it out, how did you go about that?
Well, I started out, ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a screenwriter. Is my love for movies, Star Wars, as you can see with the homage.
Yeah. There's a few homage covers.
Here's my
show us homage.
This is issue 3's homage to my all-time favorite movie, The Empire Strikes Back.
That was my favorite of the series too.
Yes, this is the homage to Empire Strikes Back. And then, so of course, with the next issue, I know it went out of order, but it doesn't really matter, because you never know what's going to happen. I never know if I'm going to get this funded. So I went with my favorite
first
movie. Then the Star Wars homage, which has been selling really well. It's actually outselling this one on Kickstarter. My Star Wars homage, people have really been enjoying that. So now I got to do Return of the Jedi for issue 5, and I don't, because Return of the Jedi it's just not as iconic as
the other two,
as the first two. Definitely, the Star Wars is definitely.
A New Hope is kind of the most iconic.
Yes. Oh yeah, it's the greatest movie poster. I mean, it's just so iconic. It's cool. Yeah. Anyway, so I forgot what I was going to say. But
talking about how you got into comics.
Yes. So anyway, I watched Empire Strikes Back, was the very first movie I seen in the theater when I was 5, and that just, I wanted to be a writer ever since. So I started doing the screenwriting. I got to the Academy Awards, put on this contest called the Nichols Fellowship, and if you win that or get in the top 5, then you have a shot at getting your movie made. Luke of the Bee. There's been a bunch of movies, so I entered it, and I was 2-time semifinalist. So that means out of 7,500 scripts, I got to the top 180 2 years in a row with the script, and I got some interest from some agents and stuff, but like 99.9% of movie scripts that fell through.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine, and then I had done a comic book called Steelhawk, which was my first comic. It was horrible. It was bad. You'll never find an issue.
You got to start from somewhere, though.
I think I've sold like 5, but
okay.
So then one day my friend had watched the Westminster Dog Show. He called me up and he said, "You should write a comic about dogs' superpowers." And I thought, wow, that is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. But it just slowly started percolating. I think probably because I was watching Lost at the time. I was rewatching Lost, I should say. And I just thought it'd be really cool to write the story with this big overall story, and then the smaller stories with these individual dogs. And so I wrote the first 5 issues in like a week. And it was much different than what Alpha Dogs is now. Money fell through, and that was 7 years ago. And so over time, I just kept developing the story and rewriting it until I had about 200 pages of story for the comic. And then COVID hit, and I discovered Kickstarter instead of trying to send out to Image, because I had paid for 6 pages. And then COVID hit, so nobody was taking anything, and I threw it on Kickstarter, and barely got funded, but I got funded, and I had no connections, knew nobody, knew nothing about any of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a gradual learning process. That was 2 years ago. And
Okay.
thankfully now I'm on issue 6 of my comics, 4 of Alpha Dogs, 2 of Dime Store, and it's been getting bigger and bigger. This year was my first time going to Comic Con, so I'm hoping in about a few years that I can even be much bigger and maybe even turn a profit for a change.
That's always a good goal there to have.
Yeah.
You said that the latest book got funded though in 48 hours.
Yes. Yep.
That's
just over
to me
48
amazing.
hours. Yeah, which was cool because, like I said, with issue 1, I got that funded in the last 5 days. So
wow. Okay,
yeah,
so pretty quick still.
Cool. Yeah, it's been going. I mean, I'm not anybody known yet, but going on shows.
Well, I mean, if you keep at it, right?
Yes, yep.
But to me, getting funded in 48 hours, what exactly does that mean so that people understand? That's just to cover the printing costs to get the.
No, that's basically just the least amount you can lose. It's just enough so your wife doesn't totally kill you for
making a comic.
Yeah, so you're still, in order to be viable, I still have to make more than that, but it's like, I can afford to lose this much and still keep on going with the comic. Plus, when you go to Comic Cons, you hopefully make some money off them, and I've done really well at the cons. The last one I did, I sold 87 issues of my comics. So
that's cool.
Yeah, so I've been doing really good at the cons. This is my banner behind me, and
it attracts attention. Yeah,
it does. Like I said, everybody loves dogs. Hopefully, don't get too shocked when they read it and see that it's not some Beverly Hills Chihuahua comic.
No, it's not. not quite.
No, here's the cover for issue 3. I'm really proud of.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's great.
And who's the artist that does the work? I mean, it's really quite well done.
Yeah, they're great. They're out of Argentina. It's called Stone Tower Studios. Fernando Malik is the artist, and Lucas Urita is the interior colorist. And Ezekiel, I'm gonna murder his name. I'm gonna find it. Ezekiel Dominguez is the cover colorist, who is, top notch.
I mean, the quality. That's one thing that I have to say. The quality of the book is good from cover to the interior. That's really good. Like, a lot of the time you see these really cool covers, and then you open up and
gosh, yeah,
I don't know.
I know. It's I'm not I'm more of a story person, but you got to have decent art, and and you're asking people to pay a premium for these Kickstarter books.
Of course.
They're $10, $15, some $20. I keep mine pretty cheap relative to Kickstarter because I want people.
Yeah, usually it's like $30. I've seen it $30 to $50 for just one copy. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it's crazy with some of these prices. So I keep mine about between 12 and 14, so that people will actually back it because they don't know me from Adam. So so it's been. Sorry, dog jumped in here.
Yeah, it's okay.
But so I keep mine between. I think the newest one, all the back issues on Kickstarter are only $10 a piece, and the new one is $12 because I'm trying to fund those, but the other ones have been funded, so I make those a little bit cheaper for people. But anyway, so I mean, people are putting their hard-earned money into this, so I wanted to present the highest quality comic I can, and of course, so they come back for the next issue.
Yeah, that's true. So I think that better price point does help for that. I think I was actually thinking, like when you I'm not as familiar with the Kickstarter method. So when you do it, do you have to go to the printer and say, hey, I want 1,000 copies, or do you have to have a certain print run before you can?
No, you can print up 25 if you want to. What I do, and I think most people do, they print. So let's say I sell 100 comics on my Kickstarter. I'll print up I think I do 500, so I can cover those plus the ones I want to sell at cons and when people want to get the back issues. And there's a few comic book stores that are carrying my comics. There's actually a guy in New York just bought 150 comics of mine
Oh, nice.
all together to sell on his website. So
Oh, wow.
I would like to make more, but you know, printing a comic isn't cheap.
And so when you do, like, let's say you did 500, do you do what's called a second print if it's like beyond?
Oh
that,
yeah, I've done second prints of issue 1 and issue 2 of Alpha Dogs so far. Actually, 3 printings of Alpha Dogs 1. I've been selling, like I said, I've been doing pretty good at the Comic Cons, plus the people going back for, like, for instance, for issue 4 here. There's a lot of people that are going back who've never heard of it, who
want to pick up
about it. Like, I'm sure,
yeah.
like on your show, there'll be plenty of people that will never heard of it before, that hopefully will back it.
Yeah. Well,
so you just print up how many you want, and obviously it's cheaper per comic the more you print.
Of course, yeah.
So
is it something where you have to, like, do you print in the US or do you have to print outside? Like,
I am extremely lucky. I mean, I am extremely lucky that there's the comic book print shop that I actually go to anyway. They are located an hour away from me.
Oh, wow. That's very convenient.
Yeah, it's very, so I save myself about $250. I just drive up there and pick up the comics.
Yeah.
Wellspring Comics. They're great, high quality comics. Here's actually issue 1 and 2 of Dime Store Detective to look at, so you can tell they're very high quality. Here's issue 1. This is my favorite.
I'll make it big so you can wait. There you can show it a bit better.
So this is issue 2 of Dime Store Detective, one of the issues. This is my favorite actually cover, and this is issue 1, the variant. And as you can see, they're very high quality. The pages are top notch. Here's my homage to Hulk 181, the first appearance.
Oh, nice.
Because of course he has healing powers, just like my all-time favorite character, Wolverine. Yeah. And here's
that's why I said it was very Wolverine kind of feeling to the.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Wolverine's my all-time favorite comic book character. So, the one that got me interested was so here's one of the pages for so, and here is my all-time favorite cover of any comic.
You gotta show it slower. Sorry, I gotta get you slow down. Because I know you're excited, but you know, so people can see it, right? This is really awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
I really like that. That's really cool. I like the fact that you have like the trade dress kind of you know, with the original like Hulk 181 style, you know.
Yeah. I'll re-show because this is my favorite cover. I wanted to do for Dime Store Detective. So on this side is 1981. This is the detective's father, and on this side it's the present day with the detective. And the Barracuda is passed down from the dad to the detective, so that's why it's in both present and 40 years ago. And you can see
the same car,
the structure. So it's a pretty cool cover. I'm really proud of it, and so. This is my favorite cover. Is still the issue 1 of Alpha Dogs.
I have one question. This is like a bit of a spoiler. Because, but I have to ask because why did the dog give his blood?
Why did the dog give his blood?
Yeah.
So Cyrus, as you can see, hold on. Give me one. I'm gonna close the. That's gone now. Okay. So Cyrus, as we set up in the beginning. He's lived a very, you know, he says
he's more jaded. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. He says we were meant to live as house pets. You know, he has his powers, and his owner was a great person. I don't want to give away too much about his owner, but Cyrus in the beginning, you know, is kind of telling Buck about, you know, look at you waiting at the door for your owner like a domesticated dog. And Cyrus wants to break out and do something with these powers that he has. So he knows this guy is up to no good, but he sees it as a way out. And as the story develops, we're going to see more and more of that without giving anything away. There's something big that happens in issue 4. So Cyrus knows he's up to no good, but anything is better than living this stagnant life on this farm doing nothing. So And
It's almost a little bit of rebellion in that respect, that he kind of wants to create a trouble. So that
he knows this guy's up to no good. And in the story, if you remember in issue 1, he says that he knows, I think his name was Little Bill. Bill says I can't remember exactly. It's been a long time since I read issue 1, but he mentions a name, and Cyrus is like, "Oh my God, he's still alive."
Yeah. I think it's Little Bill.
There was an incident that happened, and so he knows that this guy, even though Salem is up to no good and taking his blood, he knows that this guy is doing things, and it's a way for him, Cyrus, to break out. And like I said, I don't want to give too much away. This is as an avenue to change his lot in life, living on the farm.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, sort of rebelling against being like retired, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that was the only thing. I was like, why is he doing that? Like, kind of was curious about that. But yeah. So
Cyrus is in issue 2. If you're reading that one, Cyrus makes mention that Buck is being replaced, and he says, how does it feel? Because that Cyrus was.
They kind of hint that hint that in the first issue.
Yeah, exactly. And then I keep hinting that because it is kind of a sore spot for Cyrus, is he was her dog, and then he gets pushed aside for Buck, and now Buck is getting
pushed aside again. Yeah,
so it's just repeating itself. It's unfortunately a flaw of us humans, wanting the next bright shiny thing.
Yeah, I think that was cool. By the way, I wanted to ask this because it is a dog story at the end of the day. How do you think, the success of Stray Dogs? That was a very successful title. Do you think that's helping your title become a little bit more like?
I hope so. Well, I was lucky enough that for issue 2 and 3, Trish Forstner, who is the artist for Stray Dogs, did sketch covers for Alpha Dogs, and I should have.
Oh, nice!
If you want to press pause, I'll grab you one of my sketch covers that she did.
Well, I can't press pause, but yeah.
Let me go grab it.
Yeah, go grab it, and
I knew I should have grabbed it before.
Yeah, see, this is what I always do. I always ask for things, and then the person has to go run off, get the things, but it makes it more interesting, more dynamic, having me do this to my poor guests. Okay, so see, he was quick at least. So.
Okay, so this, I of course bought one. This is Trish's.
Okay, wait, I'll make you big again.
Okay.
There you go. Oh so yeah, you can tell it's a Stray Dog style. Yeah. Yep,
for Alpha Dogs.
That is very cool.
It was cool. I've got 2 of them. I got one from issue 2 and issue 3, and unfortunately she's not doing them anymore. But it was pretty cool while it lasted. So
did you reach out to her, or did she reach out to you?
No. So she's gotten too big for little old me. So I think she just got a busy schedule, so she wasn't doing any. I think she's doing a lot of stuff for Disney now. So so which is awesome. But hey, thanks to her, I got a lot more eyes on it. So I appreciate
I mean, that helps a lot. I mean, that's good. I like when creators help other creators, right?
Yeah, exactly. And she actually is the one that put me over my funded goal for issue 2 of Alpha Dogs, which was cool.
Wow.
So not only did she help get my name, but she actually bought some stuff for issue 2, which was super cool of her. She was very kind. So I wish she was doing sketch covers for issue 4, but she's very busy lately.
Well, back in the day, she would do you could get your blank cover and send it off to her, and she'd I mean, maybe people can do it now. I don't know, but I don't know. She's I think she's pretty busy.
Yeah, she's very busy, which is cool because she's an absolutely terrific artist. So
yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
But yeah, hopefully, I think it probably helped a little bit. It definitely helped a lot with her funding and kind of mentioning Alpha Dogs to some people. But
so for people that are interested in doing this, like you're now the guru. You're the one that people.
That's scary.
So are there any lessons or tips that you can provide to people that
don't do it? You'll lose all your money. Yeah, a lot of it's networking. Just networking. that's what I can say. Go to Comic Cons, make an email list. Anybody
Mhm.
that buys your comic gets your email, and then build yourself an email list. That's the way to go, really.
Mhm.
And just keep putting content out there, mentioning things, and not just spamming people, but
Yeah,
mentioning
yeah.
whatever you can about your comic or what's going on. Or it's it's literally like having a second job, but
Mhm.
it's your passion, like it is mine and anybody else that's crazy enough to do this, and
Mhm.
it's worth it. You never, no one ever. I actually just told somebody just this the other day. Nobody's ever made anything anything out of themselves working 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah. That's not the way to make
no,
yourself anything. Yeah.
yeah. So like me and many other people out there. You go to work, you come home, and you work on your passion project till
Yeah.
you're wanting to just die. But it's
Well, I think it's cool. I mean, I really do believe that it's kind of like every comic collector's kind of dream, like of having their own comic and, doing something. And it's cool
yeah,
that you're doing it.
yeah. I didn't. With me, it wasn't. I was like, a huge. I was a big comic book guy, but I was a writer first, and then a comic book guy.
Mhm.
Where some people, they love comic books and they decide,
Mhm.
I'm going to write a comic book, and usually it's really horrible, but it's
Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
man, because it doesn't really matter as long as you don't have to be a good writer to sell comics. You really
Mhm.
don't, because I know a lot of people that make a lot of money on Kickstarter with their comics.
Mhm.
Um, the comics aren't very good, but people are supporting them because they're investing in them, and
Yeah.
that's pretty cool, because the chances of somebody actually becoming the next Kevin Eastman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, is extremely
Yeah,
rare.
it's hard. Yeah, yeah.
Even for what I believe is a really good comic book with Alpha Dogs and Dexter Detective, it's definitely going to be tough to break out and do something with it. But that's why I'm doing it.
Well, yeah. I mean, from what I read, I mean, I think it has that potential, like in terms of the qualities there.
Yeah.
Um,
And like
it's
I
just,
said, issue one is just the setup. So once you get in more,
mhm.
I think you'll really enjoy it. And same with Dexter Detective. Issue one was a lot of setup, and issue
Mhm.
two was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. So, yeah. So, what are your future plans in terms of like how far do you see yourself taking this series?
Well, Alpha Dogs, if by some miracle I can keep this going, it's
Mhm.
about 50 issues. There's 5
Mhm.
volumes. Like I said, it's already written out roughly past the first issue. The first series is 10 issues. It's already written out, and then after that, what I'm doing with it is every issue we go back in time a little, or every volume we go back in time a little bit until we get to the genesis of how the dogs got their abilities, which
Mhm.
will be about 50 issues. So
Wow.
it's gonna be a lot, but I hope to God I can get a publisher, that way I can come out with them, every few months instead of every 4 to 6 months like I have been doing.
Mhm.
Dexter Detective is, like I said, 8 issues in all.
Mhm.
It's it's a really fun series too. And Dexter Detective issue 3 comes out August 1st if everything works out all right. They've already given all the scripts for Dexter Detective already written, and they're just got to the artist actually last week, so they're going to start working on them, because I don't like waiting a long time to get your comics after the Kickstarter ends. And boy, there's some comics I've been waiting almost a year for, and that's really
Yeah.
frustrating.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
really hurts people
I
come.
think it's good to have that kind of scheduled kind of like release time, like
Yeah.
where it's 1 to 2 months, no more than that, really.
Yes, yes. So I don't believe I've ever went over 2 months with shipping them out. Now maybe they have to wait a little bit. Uh,
Mhm.
with Dexter Detective issue 2, that was done. I shipped that about a month after the Kickstarter ended. Alpha
Mhm.
Dogs, it's about 2 months, because it's everything's getting colored, where half of Dime Story is not colored, so
Mhm.
it's just faster. But Alpha Dogs right now is halfway done. So my goal is that after the Kickstarter ends in a month, I'll be able to start shipping the comics.
So one thing I was kind of curious about, just from talking with you, I was curious about working with artists that you're not like right next to, like they're well, they're not overseas, but they're they're down south, I guess.
Yeah, Argentina. Yeah, they're
Argentina. It's like
it doesn't really matter because nowadays everybody's texting anyway. So
do you have to write fairly descriptive descriptions of how the panels look, or how's it work?
I don't try as far as the panel look. I mean, I hope that, and they pretty are. When you write the script, it's not too much to figure out that, okay, this panel should be big. I try my best not to go over 5 panels. I like the 5 panel setup. I'm a big fan of that. I think it gives each part of the story their own enough room. Now, some panels, if there's a lot of talking, well, you can put 7 panels in there. So if there's something that's off, he does a really good job. The guy, his name's Lucas Urita. He's the one that is the project manager. He's the one that gets all the artists, the colorists and stuff. And he sets up the panels, does the sketches for how it's going to look. And then I say yay or nay. 90% of the time I say yay, because I'm not a big, I think it should be a collaborative effort when you're doing the comic book. It shouldn't be one person's vision. It's just like with a movie, I'm the writer and I'm the director, or I should say I'm the writer, I'm the producer. And then the guy, you've got your kind of director, the guy that does the sketches for how the panel layout should be. And then of course the artist. So I try to kind of stay back. I don't try to, unless it's something really important, I kind of let them do their thing. I write the script and I will put pictures of how it should look off the internet to help them, because they are from Argentina and English is a second language to them.
Yeah. So it's always that's what I was wondering about, that challenge.
Yeah, but he's, you wouldn't know it if you talk to him. But I usually will put pictures in something like a yacht so issue 4 starts out around a yacht where the dogs are. Well, not to give too much away, but he's a prisoner. And so I put a picture of a yacht and the dogs, each dog, I put a picture of the dog on there. So I kind of give them a basis of what to go with.
Okay. Is it expensive to without getting too much into the financials, but I'm curious.
Expensive.
To hire these artists.
Oh yeah, it's expensive, but that's why I had to go overseas, because the dollar goes a lot farther overseas. It would cost me, it probably costs, I think well, I can't. They don't want me to give away the numbers.
Yeah. That's why
it would probably cost me at least I'd say about 20% more to go with an American artist.
Okay.
So that's why the quality is so good. I mean, I would never be able to get that kind of quality. I shouldn't say never, but I probably wouldn't.
You'd be paying a premium to get the quality that you got. Yeah,
especially for the cover. The covers, to get a good cover artist for America, it would cost, oh my goodness, between $300 to $700. So
per just to do the cover.
That's not a name either. I mean, that's like a name in the indie community. That's not like your McFarlane or somebody like that.
Yeah. Add a couple zeros and then
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to equate it as best I can. So
yeah. So that's cool though. I didn't want to get too much into the financial part, but I kind of just so people know,
yeah, it's not
a lot. Yeah, because a lot of people are like, I think a lot of collectors that do want to create their own book. Maybe they have a story idea, but they don't have necessarily the artistic talent to. And whenever they do try to do it themselves, the artistic talent really does. It's usually really bad.
Yeah. I mean, it's cheap, but the thing is, Kickstarter. The Kickstarter comics is just inundated. I mean, there's so many people now doing it.
Yeah.
And what happens is issue 1 does really well because your friends and your family and everyone.
Yeah, everyone backs you. Yeah.
Issue 1 it's issue 1, so everybody turns out for issue 1. Issue 2 a little bit less.
Yeah.
And issue 3, forget about it. So with issue 1, I actually did the best as far as backers with issue 1. Without the dogs, and I did the rest of them. I mean, almost the same, but just a few more for issue 1 because everybody shows up for issue 1. But then they're like, okay, we're done. So
yeah.
But thankfully, I've been able to build off of that, and while my friends and family don't back it, I've got a loyal following. It's not a big following, but I do have a loyal following out there.
Yeah, I mean, I come from an entrepreneurial background, so
Yeah.
usually your first funders are all your friends and family, right? It's like that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But once you can move away from that, then you know that you actually have something that's sustainable. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Yeah. And thankfully, even though I've been a couple less back, I think with issue 4 of Alpha Dogs, I'm on pace to have the most backers I've ever had.
Mhm.
The money has went up every time, so that's good.
And the cool thing is that it should be the case that you have a mailing list that you can say, hey, issue number 5 is coming out now.
Mm-hmm.
This is the next Kickstarter too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I have my mailing list is very pathetic compared to most people's, because like I said, I just started doing this 2 years ago, and I just started doing cons this year. But I have 405 people on my mailing list. Well, out of the 405 people, about 150 people actually open them. Now, the 150 people that actually open them, probably 15 probably back the project. That's basically what they say. If you send out anything, it's a numbers game, you know.
Yep.
There's people that do really well on Kickstarter. They have 7,000, 8,000 people on the mailing list. So, like I said, I'm still growing. I got a long way to go, but going on the show, and I believe in what I'm doing. I think the few people that have read it relative to other people have really enjoyed it. I've had over 50% of people come back for the next issue, which is really high. Usually they say about 30 to 40% come back for the next issue. So mine's over 50. So that's
I think with issue 1 at least, I can only speak from what I read. Yeah. Right? You put at least a good 3 or 4 good solid hooks into the reader. I think curious about the different dogs, what something's going on there. You can tell something's going on there. You got the crazy scientist guy, something's going on there. You got a couple other characters, what's going on with them. So there's enough hooks there, I think, that people will kind of want to get that second issue or third or fourth, so forth.
Yeah, I think so. I'm a big fan of that. Leaving them wanting more and leaving a good cliffhanger. I love the cliffhangers. I'm a big fan of them.
Yeah, I can tell that issue 1 has a cliffhanger for anyone that's watching this. It definitely has a cliffhanger.
Well, I all have pretty good cliffhangers, not to brag. All of my issues have really good cliffhangers. Well, issue 4, a little bit of one, because we kind of wrap up that storyline. So there is a bit of a cliffhanger, but not as enticing as the other ones.
Mm-hmm. I think that's sort of maybe the Lost influence. That show is all about cliffhangers. And hooks.
I mean, that show was so well. Well, of course, one of the greatest comic book writers worked on Brian K. Vaughan, and I'm a big.
Oh, so it was Brian K. That's right. He did Lost. That's right.
Yeah, he did. He was like.
I'm a big fan of his stuff, by the way.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I have pretty much all of his works, right?
Yeah, his writing was a big influence on Alpha Dogs. Definitely the big mystery with the little mysteries, and he perfected it with Why the Last Man. So
yeah, that was a good series. Terrible that they didn't make it into a better TV series. It just was.
I didn't have the heart. I know I shouldn't judge a book by the cover, but when I saw the trailers for it, I was like,
Yeah, I watched Paper Girls.
Is that any good? I haven't read Paper Girls.
It was so. They did change it from the books, which good things and bad things. Like it just it didn't work. It didn't work, and it was canceled. It only had 1 season.
Yeah, I know. And I started reading Paper Girls, and I know I probably should have read more. Probably, like anything, I probably needed more setup. But it was the only one of his series that I read. I was kind of disappointed, but maybe I just needed to keep on going because he's never disappointed me. So
yeah, I felt like the overall story was good.
Yeah.
But sometimes some of his the way he brought the story forward was a little bit disorganized or kind of clunky. It was good overall though. I like Paper Girls. Like I read that. I read Why the Last Man, and what was the other one? Saga is obviously the big one.
Yeah. I still got to finish Saga. I bought the omnibus. I had actually the first printing of the first 5 comics, and I sold them early. I screwed up.
They're expensive now.
They're very expensive, and I did not get near what they're worth now.
That could have funded your Kickstarter.
Don't remind me. That was a huge,
Oh, wow.
huge mistake. Because yeah, I because I was such a huge fan of Why the Last Man. Besides Watchmen, it's
Mhm.
I would say my favorite series. Watchmen's still my favorite, but
Yeah, I think Watchmen is
it's a solid second. So.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, just say some of the links where people can, like, you have a cool video, which I might not, can I air it after this video? Can I like have it like, so there will be a part 2 for anyone watching this. I'm going to have like a later video that I'll show, which will be like just the trailer for Alpha Dogs. It's a really cool trailer.
Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
You did really. It was a really great trailer, actually. It's like really high production.
You can go through, if you go to my Kickstarter, you can go through and watch all the trailers for all the previous issues. So all the trailers are really great. I don't do them. I just write the script.
Yeah, no, they're
really
well done. Yeah.
So, Stone Tower Studios, the ones that produce the trailers. So yeah, they're all. I mean, what it was is I'd watched the Watchmen motion comic.
Yeah,
I've ever seen it. I mean,
it's good. It's really good.
Comic. I mean, it's so much better than the comic, actually.
Yeah.
But so I was like, oh God, I got to do that for Alpha Dog. So that's where the motion comics come from. But yeah, for me, it was the impetus for it. But yeah, if you can go back and watch all the trailers for the comics, they're all just as good as the issue 4 trailer that you're going to show. So people should go back, and they're on YouTube as well. If you type in Alpha Dogs, John Dexter, there's a plenty of reviews you can watch for my comics, and you can watch the trailers, which are all pretty cool.
So yeah, I'll air the first one and then link to other ones in that video. So if you don't mind me reusing your copyright,
no, it's fine.
I'll air it, and then that way people, I'll promote it.
And the trailer there's a trailer for Dexter Detective 2, which is really cool. If you like that noir, you should definitely watch it because.
Send me the link in Instagram. I'll check it out too, and I'll link that as well, just because.
Okay, people, like I said, or
once people watch them, I think they'll say, "Oh, this is pretty cool." Like,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, honestly, if you don't want to buy them after the trailer, I pretty much have out of ideas. You just don't want to do it because I think they're pretty cool. But I can send you the link to my the YouTube page.
Okay, cool. So I'll put all those links into this description of this video. I'll put your Instagram. I'll put your Kickstarter link as well. Your Kickstarter ends.
I mean, I'm going to be at the top of Facebook. If you put John Dexter, technically it's John Dexter 77, I think, is for Facebook. But if you just write in John Dexter, I'll be at the top because I have some followers and stuff. So
okay, that's cool. The other thing is your Kickstarter ends June 26th. 23rd. Yeah. It's my mom's birthday. So it ends on my mom's birthday.
A dog who rips off the fingers off people.
Yeah. Well, he got them sewed back on.
Yes, some of them. Yes.
Some of them. It's like his hand was pretty mangled. So yeah, that was cool. So again, thanks for coming on to the show. And anything else you want to tell people while they're watching this?
Well, just go check out the Kickstarter. It's live till, like you said, to the 23rd. It's got some preview pages. It's got a really cool trailer. There's some really cool rewards on there. Collector edition where I'm only making 100 of a certain cover of my Spider-Man homage on there. And you can, like I said, you can go back and look at some of the other from the Kickstarter, some of my other campaigns for the other Alpha Dogs and Dexter Detective. And there's plenty of tiers on there to buy all the comics I've done. A lot of cool covers, a lot of homage covers if you like the old school covers, and of course the Star Wars covers. So and you get a really cool story.
Cool. Thanks again. So check out Alpha Dogs on the links down there. And thanks again. Bye for now.
Thank you.